Well, Lauren Boebert, as we've been covering, is pushing to impeach President Joe Biden over the border. Um, and this whole thing is just a political stunt to get her attention. Of course, she saw Marjorie Greene introducing her articles of impeachment and getting some interviews, and so she was going to do it. And now they're angry at each other because Marjorie Greene's mad at her for taking the idea. Chaos. But Lauren Boebert did an interview on Hannity to explain why she's pushing for this. Now the articles of impeachment are going to be forwarded to committee. She was trying to force it to the floor, but it's going to be sent to committees to be worked out there. It's all completely ridiculous, but we'll discuss that more after this.
Comes around earlier today, Congresswoman from Colorado, Lauren Boebert, introduced articles of impeachment against Joe Biden, citing a dereliction of duty, abuse of power over the out-of-control border crisis. The House ultimately voted along party lines to refer the articles to both the Homeland Security and Judiciary committees. Congresswoman Boebert joins us now with more details. Congresswoman, I tend to agree that if a president takes a pledge to uphold the Constitution, that means the laws of our country, and you don't get to pick and choose which you want to enforce. And that's exactly what he's done down at the border. But I do feel I need to give you a chance to respond to Professor Dershowitz if you heard him.
Yes, I did hear the professor, and the founders designed impeachment as a built-in accountability mechanism for such a time as this. When a president is ignoring the duly enacted laws passed by Congress, then it's our duty to act and be that check and balance on the executive. By deliberately choosing to ignore congressional enacted laws, Biden is trampling on our Constitution. Congress's job is to pass the law. The president's job is to enforce it. Full stop. By unilaterally nullifying border security laws, Joe Biden has threatened our constitutional separation of powers and his oath of office.
All right.
Why do people allow their leaders, their news anchors, their politicians to do that? Just spew dishonesty. I don't care. Just tell me whatever. I don't care about the fact. It's wild. Sean Hannity, for example. Easiest job on the planet. He can just make up whatever he wants on the spot. Oh, Biden's opened the border and he's not enforcing laws, and Lauren Boebert can go, heck yeah, he's not enforcing laws. Evidence? Question mark. Imagine that. Imagine the ease in which Sean Hannity can go on television and just say whatever he'd like. Welcome back to the Sean Hannity program. Today, the sky is red. Don't look at it. But it's just, trust me, it's red. Oh, grass, purple today. As is my new phrase. The grass is indeed purple. Just don't go outside and look at it, but you can trust me. Sean Hannity out. That's pretty easy because you don't have to put in the work to go look at the grass and make sure you're telling the correct facts. You don't have to go put in the work to look at the sky. The analogy, of course, is when you care about facts, speaking as someone who also does a show on a smaller scale than the audience that Sean Hannity has, for now, but still, it takes work to make sure for that audience and that platform, only accurate information is put out. And whenever something small is wrong, it's devastating. Sean Hannity? Heck no. He doesn't need any of that stress. Now, it's strange he doesn't have the stress of, and Lauren Boebert doesn't have the stress of lying in bed every single night thinking about how dishonest they are. But if you can get rid of any of that, integrity, then you can have the easiest job in the world. You don't have to do any research. You don't have to go understand topics. You don't have to get a sense of and understanding of complex subjects we deal with on a daily basis so that you know you're providing information and presenting information correctly. Nah, none of that. You know how to do that. You can just say whatever attacks the other side the most and whatever fits your political narrative. Just one example while we're on this, and then we'll get to another clip. There was one time where, it wasn't today, by the way. I cited another one of these statistics correctly today. I said 9 out of 10 red states, or 9 out of 10 of the highest poverty states are red states. That's correct. And most of the ones I've outlined on that are absolutely correct. There was one time where I said 8 out of 10 instead of 7 out of 10 for some other thing we were talking about. Or 7 instead of 6. Whatever it was one off, and I said it in the direction on accident that would strengthen my argument, right? It was like 8 out of 10 red states had some bad statistic, or 8 out of 10 of the worst on this metric were red states or something like that. And it was actually 7. And I uploaded the video and I was thinking to myself, wait, was 8 that other metric? And I looked it up and it was, and I got it 1 off, and I was so devastated because I was thinking, Imagine you're watching the show, listening to the show, and you go out in your life and you cite that, and then it's wrong. I would never want to do that to you. Number one. Number two, I just care about being correct. I want to know things, so I want to be accurate on those things. And I was thinking about that night. I was thinking about the next morning. Sean Hannity has never had that experience because he can just say, nope, it's 3 out of 10 now, or 35 out of 10. It doesn't matter. And that's the world that so many people live in when they watch someone like Sean Hannity or Lauren Boebert go on television and say, the border's open, even though we can't point to specifics as to how that is the case. The only thing they're pointing at is high border crossing numbers, which we've talked about in the past, why that is. And there are reasons and variables as to why we've seen an increase after COVID. COVID is one of the reasons, created a backlog, and we kind of saw a spike, and now we're seeing a decrease. But if we want to have conversations about real problems that do exist with our southern border, humanitarian problems, logistical, how I always break it down, we need to address in a humane way the individuals who are coming across the southern border, and then also invest in our legal immigration process to make sure it's more efficient and can handle more people where we don't currently have, and give more people a shot to go through legally. And immigration reform is a conversation we could have, but we can't, because as I said before, you can't be honest about a discussion about solutions if you're dishonest about the problem. And pretending that Biden, who has continued investing in border security, continued enforcing those laws, all of that is the reason for something happening that you're making up is happening, which is an open border, is absurd. Okay, then Lauren Boebert in this interview, sorry for all that ranting, got asked about her exchange with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I'd be negligent if I didn't ask you, all right, what's going on with you and Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Sean, I did not put my life on pause and leave my 4 boys and my now grandson to come here and just get in spats with people. I came here to legislate and to be effective for Coloradans who are suffering from the Democrats' policy. Marjorie is not my enemy. Joe Biden's policy, the Democrats, that is my enemy that I am combating right now. And I'm doing everything I can to make sure.
Okay. So Marjorie Greene had a very different reaction. She responded when asked about it and said, yeah, she's treated me like a little you-know-what since I got here. Oof. Lauren Boebert is trying to play it off as not a big deal. If you missed this story, I covered it over on the David Pakman show, so I won't do a whole story about it again now, but on the House floor reportedly, and it seems to be confirmed by one of them, I think it was Marjorie Greene called Lauren Boebert a little B. And it was over, apparently, Lauren Boebert. American politics is so bonkers. Copying Marjorie Greene's impeachment of Joe Biden. Hey, you copied me. Congresswoman. Wow. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before all the clips are able to be uploaded to the YouTube channel, plus get the bonus show on the weekends, you can do so by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. That's lukebeasleyshow.com/membership, and there's a link in the description.